Hello friends, we are all living in these tough COVID times and individuals and businesses are facing many difficulties in order to perform their roles due to the COVID related disruptions. Now, one such disruption has been caused by a key component that is in short supply globally. It's called as a semiconductor chip. Now, these gizmo-like chips that you see in the picture have caused a lot of worry globally due to their unavailability. Okay, so before we go ahead, what are semiconductor chips? So, according to Investopedia, a semiconductor is a material product usually comprised of silicon, which conducts electricity more than an insulator such as glass, but less than a pure conductor such as copper or aluminum. So, leave aside the definition, but several of these chips are mounted together on an integrated circuit, commonly known as an IC. Nowadays, all devices that we use, almost all devices that we use daily may have chips inside them, like TV, fridge, smartphones, laptops, cars, motorcycles, air purifier, and many other devices. So, let's take a look at who are the big boys of the semiconductor manufacturing globally. So, Intel, Samsung and TSMC are the top 3 companies globally. Also, as you can see, most manufacturers are concentrated in US, Taiwan and South Korea. So, we come to the main question. What caused the shortage of semiconductors globally? Now, the COVID-affected world found new ways to cope up with the crisis. People went about doing their jobs, social interactions and daily lives in a new way. Face-to-face meetings and classroom lectures were replaced by Zoom calls, Microsoft Teams and others, which triggered demand for mobile phones and laptops. Work from home led to a huge scramble for laptops and desktops as companies worked on setting up infrastructure at employees' homes. Those who could not meet their loved ones connected through smartphones or video calls. Again, this stirred the demand for smartphones. People sitting at home boosted TV sales. In addition, medical devices, diagnostic equipment and air purifiers were in demand. So all these devices that we just mentioned and many that we did not mention had one thing in common, which is semiconductor chips. So this sudden spike in demand for electronic devices led to a shortage of semiconductors globally. Sensing that this situation would arise, some companies entered into long-term contracts with their semiconductor suppliers to ensure that the supply was unhindered. Some of these companies such as Huawei and ZTE drew the flag of former US President Donald Trump, who insisted on regulating sales of components to these companies. Now, as chip makers prioritize supplies to electronic manufacturers, the apples of the world, that is the apples of the world, the car makers were left in the lurch. Suddenly, car makers across the world were found slashing their revenue and profitability guidance, as vehicles were lying half-made in factories waiting for critical components. The problem was compounded when a brutal winter in Texas forced Samsung and NXP Semiconductors to pause production in their Texas facility. Also, a couple of fire incidents in Japan halted production of special fiberglass used in printed circuit boards or PCBs as they are called, and advanced sensing devices. Now, apart from this, there have also been numerous incidents of supply chain disruptions from manufacturing countries to their destinations. So, is it that chip makers were not proactive enough to avoid the shortage? Well, not really. Firstly, chip makers' plans to expand capacity were hindered by the pandemic-led lockdowns. Secondly, expanding semiconductor capacity is not a simple task. It requires investing a humongous amount of capital and takes at least 3 to 5 years for new capacities to come up. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company or TSMC has increased its semiconductor capex by 50% to $28 billion in calendar year 2021. So what's next? Now, one of the solutions could be second sourcing. This means that instead of a single chip maker supplying to a company, 2 suppliers do the same. So that if one faces disruption, the other can chip in, the other can make up for the same. However, the model has not been too successful across the world, with companies reluctant on sharing technology. Also, the semiconductor industry has seen some consolidation lately, and the number of companies making chips has gone down. Some companies may still wriggle themselves out of this situation earlier than others. Now, companies like Apple that have the clout can pre-order enough chips to ensure that disruption is kept to a minimum. Other companies will unfortunately have to deal with high chip prices from chip makers and will have to take the tricky decision of either passing it on to customers or absorbing some of it. Now, the current situation will easily persist for another 2 to 3 years, by when new capacities will come on board. Some countries or regions such as the USA and Europe are lending a helping hand to chip makers in their region so that local supply can be guaranteed. So automakers will most likely have to bear the brunt of this situation and delay production schedules. For most companies, they will have to bear the specter of cars lying in a semi-finished state in factories waiting for components to be fitted in there. So friends, that's it from our side. Hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon and press the like button. Thanks a lot and wish you a very good day. Thank you.